Welcome to Drug Use, Physical and Psychological Effects. This is an overview of the class. In Unit 1, we'll discuss what is a drug and how drugs might be classified. You'll learn a simple three-category classification of drugs that will help the rest of what you're studying in this class. In Unit 2, we'll talk about drug use yesterday and today, the history of drug use from the earliest times, and how it is interwoven with American history. Unit 3, Drugs in the Nervous System, we will discuss how drugs affect the brain and the nervous system in some very special ways. This information will help you to understand why drugs are addicting and why they alter thinking, feeling, and behavior. In Unit 4, we'll discuss two important principles: pharmacokinetics, how drugs move around in the body, and pharmacodynamics, how they do what they do when they finally get to the site of action. In Unit 5, Psychopharmacology and New Drug Development, we will define addiction, talk about how user characteristics impact the drug-using experience, and discover how new pharmaceutical medications are first discovered and then brought to the market. In Unit 6, we're going to talk about some heavy-duty stimulants: cocaine, amphetamines, methamphetamine, and related stimulants, sometimes called bath salts. We'll talk about their history and why various drugs, stimulants, come in and out of popularity. Unit 7, Nicotine. We'll talk about the question, is nicotine a stimulant or a depressant? And why is nicotine treated so differently from other drugs when deaths directly attributable to smoking far exceed the deaths attributable to using illegal drugs? In Unit 8, we're going to discuss caffeine and some related compounds. Caffeine is one of the most widely consumed drugs on Earth, with over 90% of people consuming it on a daily basis. We'll need to look at when is this a good thing and when is consumption of caffeine a problem. In Unit 10, we'll look at opiates, their history and their future, both the naturally processed variety and synthetics. Opiates have been in the news a lot lately because of an epidemic of opioid overdose deaths. We'll look at that problem. In Unit 11, we'll talk about marijuana. We'll see the history and the pros and cons of marijuana use. There's been a lot of movement towards legalizing marijuana, but is this really a good thing? Unit 12 will explore hallucinogens and the many types of hallucinogens, most of which come from plant origins. Are these an opportunity for expanded consciousness, or can the use of hallucinogens be a dangerous experience? Unit 13 will talk about psychotherapeutic medications, the medications used to treat mental illness. We'll also talk about co-occurring disorders, the overlap between those people with a substance use disorder and those people with a diagnosed mental illness. When is taking medication a good idea and when is it dangerous? In Unit 14, we'll look at prescription, other prescription drugs not previously talked about, and over-the-counter drugs. Just how safe are prescription drugs and over-the-counter medications? Unit 15 will do an introduction to the treatment of substance use disorders. How does drug and alcohol treatment work, and is it effective? Unit 16, Prevention of Substance Abuse. How do we prevent substance abuse, and particularly, how do we prevent it among very young children?